Hello, Simone.
Hey, hello. Welcome.
Welcome. We are here. We are doing this podcast thing. Very exciting.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was long in the making, and yet it feels like it's happened so fast.
Yes,
I don't
everything all
know.
at once.
Yes, but that's how we roll, right?
Yes, yes. I think we have ideas and then sparks and things just flow. And
And that's what it is about, right? And why we've started Sisterhood of the Rose is to help other
yes,
people and other women find this little vein of a flow that we are finding or that we found, and to expand it and make this trickle, to make it like a river, like the Nile in full bloom.
yes, like these little
Yeah.
ripples going outwards. Oh, that feels delicious. I like
Yeah, can you see it? Like little
that.
trickle becoming like this really big, massive women who are just supporting one another, and who is safe, I suppose is probably the right word, and
Mhm.
loving and caring and nurturing, and that we break away from this thing of women hating women and women not liking women. And
Yeah,
yeah, and that's,
and
I think, what we are trying to do.
exactly. Like as you were speaking, what came to mind was the way that we as women can relate to each other, where we think we're connecting, but we're creating separation, um,
Mm,
versus connecting to each other through genuine expressions of ourselves and our creativity and what feels good versus what doesn't feel good.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I've got stories, so many stories. I know you do too. But I can remember having
Yeah.
friends where we get together and we just complain about, you know, partners and husbands and oh they did that and oh they did that. And it became this pattern of relating to each other in this negative stuff, like, oh, we're all in
Mm,
the same boat, but without a purpose, without a and now what do I need to look at about myself and how I'm showing up? Or what
yeah.
else in my life is magical and creative and where do I feel free? And
Yes.
where am I empowered and what choices do I have? And yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to be in a space where we're creating a space to show up authentic and real, to share our stuff, but with intention and purpose. Um, and igniting the sparkle and the creativity and encouraging it in each other on
Yes.
the way.
Absolutely. And I recently read something that says, as a species, as human beings, when we meet people, we have these antenna. Like, imagine you're an insect and you have like this antenna. And so when you're meeting other people, you've got like these signals that we send out to one another. And that is how, when you're busy talking to somebody new, you have this instant feeling of, I like them, I don't like them, because we have like this little signal that we are picking up signals, and we are giving off signals. And while we're doing that, we're trying to find out how they are different to us. But if we become conscious and we become aware, and we try to find out, we flip that and we find out how are they similar to us, and we start
Ooh,
looking at them through the lens of acceptance and love, and only trying to find the good in them,
yeah.
instead of finding out, like, how am I supposed to protect me from you?
Yeah,
um, it changes
beautiful.
everything. um, and when you find something that is gnarly, that you actually just acknowledge that as pain, instead of somebody trying to like Freddy Krueger you. um,
Yes.
I mean, most of the time it's not even about you, it's about them, and how their pain shows up, or how other people's pain show up. But
Mm.
as women, we have to start treating one another better. The kind of love and security that we crave, I think, isn't something that you can just find in a romantic partnership. um, and I think it's a lot to expect from a partner. I mean, you and I spoke about this the other day, of like, you explain something to your partner and they just don't get it, and then
Yeah.
you explain the same thing to your girls, and you don't even have to finish your sentence, like, they get it. um,
Yes.
but then we expect our partners to just know stuff, but they actually don't know stuff. They
And they don't
speak a
need
totally
to.
different language.
It's totally different language. And
Totally
and
different
how
language.
beautiful is it if we can like acknowledge that and embrace that and love that for what it is, and then
Yes,
take that desire to share and to get excited and to encourage to our girlfriends and be like, hey, I'm working on
exactly.
this thing, knowing that we're going to be received and loved and we're going to have that mirror back and that support and that encouragement.
Exactly. Yes, because often we have these passions and we have these things that are interesting, and then your partner perhaps doesn't understand it, and they're a little bit not as excited as we expect them to be, as the girls would have been. And then they end up being the bad guy, but it's maybe just not up the alley, or maybe it's not something that they're really interested in knowing about the nuts and bolts of this thing. But if we can find safe spaces where we can express ourselves, whether we are happy, sad, whether we are the breeze or the tornado that we both have outside our houses right
Yes,
now,
yes, yes.
when the wind is howling, whether we are this or that, that that when I come into this container, I am safe. I
All
can
of me
be
is
whoever
welcome.
I am. All of me is
Yeah,
welcome. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that. And it doesn't matter whether I make an unpopular decision, this container of people are going to walk with me and not say, I told you so, but rather say, I support you as you are learning this lesson in your life. So come
Yes.
on, you fell down, let's pick you up, let's go. You're not
I,
alone.
you're not alone. And
Yeah.
I think some of the kindest things that my girlfriends have said to me in the past year is, oh, you want to do that lesson again? Okay, no worries. We're here with you. Like, but jump back into it, get what you need from it when you're ready, or as you need us, we're here.
Yeah.
But without
And not
judgment.
have that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's the thing. It's like that I told you so. It's that, and that you get it everywhere. It's not, there's no place when you make this decision that is considered a wrong decision or a poor decision, there's seldom, and everybody says don't do it, and you still feel that you want to do it. And then it turns out to be exactly what they said it would be, and then everywhere you go, you get this, I told you so. But this is your lesson, and this is your journey, and this is your life. And the one thing that we have full control over is ourselves. Everything else is an illusion, you
Yeah.
know. Now, we
Yeah.
can't control anything but how we react and respond to life. And when everywhere you go and you made this decision and people say, I told you so, you're never going to try, or you're never going to want to try something again, because it's so painful and it's so lonely and it's so sad to be in that little pit all by yourself.
All that
No
shame.
light, all that shame, all
Ah,
that
all that
guilt.
shame. And then you feel like you have to hide and you've got to withdraw or you can't let people know what's going on with you because of that shame, that feeling that, yeah, I am going to be judged. I'm not going to be welcome because I've made this decision and it turned out this way. Um, yeah,
And
and
they
for me,
told
like,
you so.
and they told you so exactly. So like, I'm the silly one. I'm stupid. I'm foolish. Um, versus having a space where someone can hold you and you can say, I know you told me so. And they go, and it's okay. And it's okay. We still got you. We
Yeah,
still got your back. We still
yeah.
love you. We still believe in you. And we still support you.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with you for
Yes.
trying the same. I mean, we will learn the same lessons over and over in different ways until the penny drops, right? Whatever the
Mhm.
lesson is.
Mhm.
And if the lesson isn't learned, it will just come back. And
Yeah.
so when we become conscious, which is part of, you can only become conscious, I think, or an easier way to become conscious is once your survival needs are met. So, for instance, if you don't have to worry about surviving and making sure that you are okay, that you are safe, that you don't have to worry about too many things, then it leaves space for you to explore your insides and who you are, and creating these bonds and these relationships. And once you've done that, and you meet other people who has done that or who wants to do that, then you start creating this little space where it is safe for you to bungee jump and feel the air flow through your face.
Oh, I
And
love
you're not
that.
sure if you clipped the, if you've clipped the rope
Safety
on
thing.
just properly. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
did you get all the carabiners in? And sometimes you go into the river and you get dunked and it's cold. Other times it's like a splat on the ground. Other times it's wee and you bounce back and it's amazing. But the choice to jump should always be yours. And
Yeah.
you should always have a team cheering for you on the platform and a team dragging you out of the river before you drown, you know?
The
And
blankets
for
of
me,
fire and a glass of wine.
that is sisterhood, that
Yeah.
is, for me, that is what I have found in the women that has become close in my life, of which you are one, that I find I am more free to go and explore my authentic self, because it doesn't matter what happens anymore. I have this group of people who just love me through my highs, through my lows, and we talk openly, and there's no judgment, and it's free, and it's nobody wants anything from anybody either. It's just everybody just,
Yes.
there's no counting. There's no, oh,
Yeah.
yesterday I did this for you, so you should do that for me. Or I always listen to
Exactly.
you, but you never listen to me. And all this little bickering, and it's unnecessary. It's all ego and
Mm.
division.
There's like an embracing of the flow, that each one of us flows at a different time. And if you're having a moment where we need to hold you, that's your space and your time. And if we're all having a moment, then we hold each other. But as you say, yeah, no sort of, oh yes, I'm keeping track of a balance sheet of I did you this favor, you doing me this favor. It's just acceptance. Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. No,
But I
and
think we are living in such a transactional world.
yes, yes. And I actually watched an interesting video on um, embracing the fact that in some ways romantic relationships are transactional. We've got a lot of biology and instinct around how we choose partners and what we do want from them. Are we in it to create a family, and what roles are we playing, and do we want to have children, and all of that. Um, but I think to have a space where we've got that sense of sisterhood without that transactional stuff, and with boundaries and love, and being able to call each other out and hold each other accountable, so it's not just love and light and fairies, and
Yes.
it's real,
Yes.
it's real, and sometimes
It's
it's
real.
raw.
And that's true what you say. It's being able to call one another out, but also knowing that this isn't done with malice or like
Yes,
a pointing of the finger. It's more of like, sweetie, this isn't working. Like, you need to check yourself. Like, you're going, this isn't a hill, this is a cliff. And you're not a
yes,
lemming.
yes.
Just hold
Or
up.
last time you said this
you
and you
know
wanted me to
and
remind you,
oh,
so I'm going to remind you.
yes.
Leave it with you to decide.
Yes, and just that reality check of, are you still sure this is where you want to go? Because it looks like this road leads there. So, and without it being gossiping, without it being ugly, without it being done in a way that is just not with love. And I think that is what it is that feeling of love. And when you start loving yourself, which is something that is one of the most important things for anybody on this planet, is just knowing how to love yourself. Because once you cut through the people pleasing and everything else that we are programmed with, once you start focusing on yourself, if you're able to love yourself, it just emanates from you to other people, to strangers, to plants, to animals, to just everybody. Everything is just like beautiful, even the challenges, even when you go
Yes.
through these really gnarly things, that you can look in there and see the love and the blessings within the pain of
Yeah.
going through it.
Like appreciate
It
it.
reminds me of yoga. It's like
Yes.
holding this really terrible pose. Your legs are wobbling, but you're standing, you know,
Yes, exactly. And
and your face is
recognizing your
calm,
strength and
shoulders are down,
breathing.
yes, and you're breathing. Yes, it's
Yeah.
exactly that. Um,
I
and I
think
think
that's,
the Sisterhood of the Rose is important. It's an
yeah.
important container.
Yeah. And that I wanted to catch on to that breathing. That for me is that gift we give each other, that reminder. Just breathe, keep breathing, don't stop breathing. Um, that encouragement, that support, like you are breathing, that reminder. You're already doing it.
Yes.
Keep doing it. Um,
And doing it consciously so that it goes in,
yes,
like so that it goes into your body and you can feel it expanding. So it's learning actually how to breathe properly as well. I mean, those are things that we used to know inherently. We used to help each other birth babies. We used to give each other advice before we got married. I mean, many years ago, a long time ago, in most indigenous cultures, the women didn't go into a marriage bed without really understanding what is expected of her, like properly, like within
properly.
her power of not,
Yes.
you have to be submissive to your husband. You are equal
Mm.
and you
Mm.
you share.
There was a
Um,
wisdom, that a collective
yes,
wisdom that was shared and passed on, and conversations that were had, not just the moment before, but probably for years throughout your life and through the different stages. Um, and I mean, you mentioned like childbirth and breathing. I mean, we now pay people to teach us how to breathe because we haven't got the women around us who have been there before that can naturally just share that wisdom as we
yes.
go through. Um, yeah, and we've lost something in that
We've
way.
lost a lot, yes. And I think it's important to go and find it. I think the time has come to create these pockets for ourselves because we need it, but also for younger women who are emerging,
Our
like it's
daughters,
wild out
yeah.
there for the daughters. Yes, it's wild,
Mm,
the things that they are exposed to and the technology and the
mm,
role models that is out there, and just saying it's okay to be in this world because that's where it's at, but there is also this, and it will help you ground and it will help you
mm,
be strong and authentic and feel
mm.
safe and loved and to blossom,
Oh, I love that.
all
Blossom,
of us.
bloom.
Yeah,
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 for me, that's what was missing from my teenage years was like safe sisterhood, and guided, wise sisterhood. Like I had the circle of girlfriends, and we really loved and tried to care for each other, but we didn't know what we didn't know. We were young teenagers fumbling in the dark, trying to support each other the best we could, but we didn't know better. And if we
yes,
had like a group of wise women around us that could have like cradled us in their arms and shared their experiences and their wisdom and questioned us, helped us question and explore in a safe
yeah.
space, it could have been such a different experience.
Exactly. And then, and at the same time, while that is taking place, that we actually also talk to each other as equals, where those wise women also say, I'm struggling with this and this and this,
Yeah.
because it's a two-way street, because there's so much wisdom to be found in like a 13-year-old, for example, like
Yes,
the
yes.
things that they say, the awareness that they have, there's so much to learn. And so it's this exchange of one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. And so it's layered, but it's also, linear, and it can become
Mm-hmm.
such a beautiful flower. Um, and
Like
and
that.
I, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah.
are doing.
It's
That is what we are
reciprocation
doing.
is what we are doing. And I just think of all the conversations I have with my daughter, who's 15 and is teaching me things all the time as she's exploring. And yeah, imagine if we can create these bigger circles and spaces where we can pull that together. Sacred space, and what are the words we've used? Like to reconnect,
Yes,
to
women
ourselves
reconnecting in a sacred space. Yeah.
and remember, reconnect to ourselves, to each other, remember who we are, remember these lost um, pieces of wisdom, these lost secret mystery stories.
Yes. And also, yes, and also just who you are, like in this life, because there's so many roles to play that there's almost no time unless you really make the time to go and find out who you are, because there's life, there's work, there's family, there's a social life, there's a house that wants to be cleaned, there is puppies that's messing in the house, and before you know it, it's 10:30 at night, and you're up again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to pack lunch boxes and get ready to get to work, and off you go. And weekends, it's social, and it's sports, and it's family, and it's shopping, and it's whatever it is that takes up your time, but it's not you. It's not you
Yes.
spending time with you. And we think that these little, having our nails done and going to the hair salon, and that is hitting the spot, but yet it doesn't. For most women, it doesn't. You look in the mirror, you look beautiful, but you look in your eyes and it's hollow, like you don't know who you see. And it's about excavating, who is that person staring. When was the last time you asked yourself, who are you? Like staring back at yourself in the mirror, like, who are you?
And what
And
makes
let
you
that person answer you.
sparkle? Yeah,
Yeah.
and what makes you come alive? And for me, it's also within all those roles, like who am I and how am I showing up? Like, am I bringing all of that sparkle and aliveness in all these places and spaces? Or do I have a role in a way I show up over here? So there's like work me, and there's mob me, and there's social me.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
exhausting duality.
exhausting, absolutely exhausting. And yet, what if I showed up authentically from that place of like, this is who I am. And
But
I'm this,
Mary, what will people say?
I know. And there's the shame monster again.
Yeah,
Because that's that
exactly.
fear. Like, how will I be received? How will I be judged? And
Yeah.
what's the cost? Like, what am I going to lose by bringing all these different parts and integrating them and being authentic and consistent? I mean, I resonate. That's been my journey. Like
Yes, mine
finding these
too.
hints of me along the way and then going, okay, I'm going to try it over here. I'm going to see how it works in this space. And I'm going to try over there. And I think the most beautiful thing to happen in the past year has been getting to a point where someone even gave me feedback the other day and was like, wow, you're so authentically you, whether you're talking about money or sacred sexuality or BDSM or parenting or leadership. And I was like, yeah, I kind of reached that place where I'm like, this is me. This is me. And these things all make me excited and sparkle. And I don't need to hide it anymore, pretend in those spaces.
Yes, and it's finding, once you start hitting that spot, you start finding joy. Like you start doing the things that you like, and that makes you happy, and that brings you this joy. And more often than not, it turns out that you are in good company when you are by yourself.
Mm.
You start to like enjoy the little moments where you just feel that is just for you, and you can do it in the middle of the day, and you can just, I don't know, smell a flower or see something that makes you smile, or like for me, it's always shapes in the clouds while I'm working.
Yes, I was going to say one of my
uh,
favorite things to do is look up. And I'll like
yeah,
look up
looking
and
up.
notice the clouds and the sun or the leaves on the trees and the breeze. And it's like, I'm here in this moment. And then I automatically smile. And this is this whole blissful feeling.
Yeah, it's that connection.
Mm.
But I
So
think it
this,
comes from being free, because we know that there is this space where we are accepted exactly as we are, and that we can make a decision like this today and change our minds about it tomorrow, and it is okay. And when I talk about decisions, I mean like life decisions for ourselves as individuals, and say, I have decided that I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to become a traditional herbal healer, for
mm.
lack of a better job,
Or
or
I'm
not a better
gonna
job, but
sell
another
my house and move to
profession, but just
McGregor.
big. Yes, like sell my
Yes.
house in the city and let's move to a small village with two and a half
Yeah.
thousand people.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get out of the big city. I mean, how many people's in Cape Town right now? Like quite a
Millions.
lot, I think 2 or 3 million, and then
Yes.
swapping that for a little town in the middle of the Karoo in South Africa,
Mm.
and knowing that if tomorrow or next week or the week after I say to you, so Mary, I miss the city, I think I should move my family back, that
Mm.
it is not this, oh my gosh, what are you doing? How can you do that to them? How can you blah, 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 blah. But instead I get a, okay, so where's this coming from? So why
Yeah.
would you like to move? What is making you feel like that? Have you figured? So just going down this without the judgment of,
Just
wow,
curiosity.
woman. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Curiously exploring life, and that nothing is set in stone. It's
Mm.
fun. Let's make it fun.
Oh, that
Um,
too. Bringing the playfulness into it. Like, oh, adventure. Okay, tell me more.
yeah, adventure, tell me more. Yes. So yeah,
Yeah.
and once you start seeing life as an adventure, and I know it is tough to do this, or it can be tough to do this when life has got you like a boot on your neck, and
Yeah.
because I've been there. I've been
Yeah.
where life has had me boot on the neck. I've got a busy job, and I drive home from that very busy job in the afternoon, tires screeching, getting my kids from school, and then
Mm.
getting home, and then having to settle them. And luckily, I don't cook, so I don't. I don't have to be responsible for the food when my partner's home, you know, but all the things that has to happen, and then there's no time to do what we are encouraging
Mm.
women to do. But
Mm.
if we just make 15 minutes a day to just feet on the ground and just soak up the
Mm.
sun, or opening your heart and asking yourself, who am I? What do I like? You know,
Yes.
what do I want to experience in life? Like, outside of being a mother and a partner and a businesswoman and a friend and all the other roles that I play, a daughter, a sister, what
Mm.
is
Mm.
my favorite color? Is it really that, or is it because it's
Yes.
just always been that? Like, why do I
Yes.
believe the things I believe?
Mm.
Where does it come from, without judgment of what we find? You know, like,
Exactly. Like, oh,
there's
that's
no right or
interesting.
wrong.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm seeing this thing. What does it mean? Where does it come from? What do I want to do with it now? If I could choose. It reminds me of that mantra that we've come up with in our past years' travels together, that never lost, always found, heart wide open, feet on the ground, exactly where I'm meant to be. And
Yes.
even when we're muddy and we're in pain and we're going, oh my gosh, this thing happened, like my heart's aching, to be able to just remind ourselves, like, it's okay. The lotus grows in the mud. There's something in
Yes.
this experience, and it might not be obvious now, and it might not feel like fun at all, but you're not alone. I'm here with you. You're exactly where you need to be, and together we'll figure
Yes.
this out, or at least you'll figure it out, and I'll support you, however it needs to
Yes.
go. Yeah,
And not just there for
grateful.
the good or for the bad, but for everything.
Yes,
Not just there for
yes.
the crazy parties and the,
Or the
all the
highlights reel
fun
on
stuff and all the
Instagram.
high. Yes, not just
Yes.
there for the Instagram posts, but actually
Yeah.
there for the snot and the tears and the
Mm.
triggered moments and the overwhelms and the all of that. Um,
Mm.
and often we don't have that. I find that in the past I used to have groups of friends that are my party friends, that are my friends that are there for when things are high and life is flowing like phenomenally well. And then I had another group of friends that would be there for when I'm out really down and out, and I'm going through a divorce or something,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then poof, here's these people, and they're there. And then when I start crawling myself up and life is starting to look a bit sunny side up again, then these people are gone. Like, they're not around me anymore. And then I wonder, like, okay, the party people left when I was down, the down people leave when I'm happy. Like, who's actually here for me and not for the
Exactly.
energy and the buzz, or
Yeah.
like the stuff that's going around me? Who's actually
Yeah.
here to
Like genuine, real connection
genuinely
that's
there
not,
for me?
yeah, connected to you being or acting in a certain way or in a certain state.
Yes. like for me, my soul. And
Mm.
I'm so grateful, for the people that has crossed my life in the last, I must even say just the last year, the last few months. It's just because of the cocoon that we've created. It is just the growth. My personal growth has been exponential.
Yeah, mine
And
too.
I just want to share that with everybody,
Yes.
with everyone. And if we can do it, then everyone can do it. And I mean, we've both been there with busy corporate lives and with expectations from family, society. I mean, I come from a very strict, dogmatic religious background, and there's nothing wrong with religion, but I mean, it also comes with its own set of wonderful challenges and gifts and
Yes.
gifts.
Yeah.
But you have to undo a lot of things because you are told what to do, and
Mm.
um, and then I found the safe space, and there's just been love, you
And
know.
co-conspirators to unpack and explore. Like, what's this? I don't know. Let's go find out. Like, we
Yes,
can do it together. Share
yes,
those
and that's it.
experiences.
Never alone, never ever
Yes.
alone, ever again. And that's,
Mm.
I think, what makes me brave to do things that I've never even
Yes.
considered that I'm capable of, because I know that should it go right and should it go wrong, there's a team with me. I
Yeah.
can just pick up the phone, and
Exactly.
I can send like a
There's
20-minute
this.
voice note just rambling and nobody's gonna take offense to it. It's
No
like,
one's going to take
wow.
offense. Ah, there's a
Even if I say
podcast.
the
Yes.
same thing 500 times in like different ways, like, okay, she needs to get this out of the system. Let's just put her on fast forward.
You give it the airtime, listen, ask the questions, support, love. Yeah, 100%.
But
I'm so
often all
excited.
we need to do is talk, just get it out,
And
say it out loud
exactly, and
in a
have a
safe
space
space.
where people are interested enough to listen, to want to listen, not to try and talk um, with judgment or jumping in with their own thing. Like if they're sharing because they relate, because they want to let you know you're not alone.
Yes,
Um,
and not to make the decision for you. It's just helping
yes,
you to get there yourself, like troubleshooting with
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So excited for this journey ahead and this
Yes.
birthing of Sisterhood of the Rose and seeing where we go and who's going to join us. I think that's the part that's
Yes.
got me so excited, and like who the beautiful souls that are going to choose to adventure alongside us and yeah, be brave with us and cry with us and dance with us and make
And dance
magic
with
with us
us.
in like every way, howl on the ground, however this goes,
Yes.
but co-create experiences that leave us feeling more free.
Yes, and alive and happy and creative and
Mm.
blossoming and flowering. And yeah, I'm super excited. And we have our first workshop that's coming up in November. So that will be our first in person,
Cannot wait.
meeting some sisters. So that's really excited at the Happy Fairy. Um, what is it
Yeah.
called? Happy
Happy
Fairy,
Fair Weekend Festival, which is
Happy
in
Fair Weekend Festival.
Bonnievale. Ah, road trip. I'm so
It's
excited.
just outside of Ashton. It's in between Ashton and
Mhm.
Swellendam, yeah, in the Western
Okay.
Cape. So, and we've got a beautiful space in the forest. It's going to be
Oh,
amazing, yeah.
great. Feet literally on the ground, sunshine by
Yes.
November,
Yes.
and air, beautiful air, so we can breathe together with a little river as well. I mean, all the elements in one space.
All the elements in one space, yes. And then the fair itself is obviously
Mhm.
amazing with the market and everything else that's going to be there, because it's all we can do. We're going to camp and it's just going to be like
Oh, tempting.
amazing. We're going to meet new people and sisters and really just expand.
Mm, And that's just the beginning. Then watch the space for 2025. Look at the
That's
calendar.
right.
Go, where are we? Because as fast as time is going, there's still
Yes,
so
it's
much
going
to
super
happen.
fast. It's almost
But
Christmas. Ah,
I know, oh my gosh.
I love it.
And
Ah, I love Christmas.
I love summer. I just can't wait for sunshine on my body again to get outside. And yeah, to then look at retreats and see what other spaces are going to emerge. to
Yes.
connect and to explore and to just give, nurture and nourish were words that came up for me as well. Nurture ourselves, nourish ourselves, and pour that outwards as we overflow alongside each other and connect with each other. So
And that no topic is taboo, like no,
yes.
and that we share what we experience in life. Like
Mm.
it's like the other day when I told you about the yoni eggs, it's like,
Yes.
and about birthing it and things. It's like, okay, use the floss because it actually puts a lot of pressure on your body to birth it every
Yeah.
time you use it. Nobody tells you that on
No
on
one tells you
these
that.
yoni YouTube videos that you watch. That, hi honey, if you actually have squeezed out a baby before, this might be a thing.
Exactly.
It's
Because we share that with
a
each other and
thing.
give each other hot tips, and yeah, like, be brave
Exactly.
enough
It's like
to have that.
real stuff.
Real. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Getting real.
incredible.
Yeah. So I look forward to that. I look forward to getting real with you and a lot of other women and just, yeah, just
Yeah.
glowing.
Me too. Watch the space.
Watch the space.